Shepherding Sam, Chapter 1, Part 2. Sister Catherine opened the squeaky gate every morning after prayers, and she opened it now with Saucer tucked under her arm. Here are your new friends, Saucer. In just a minute you'll hear them all singing a welcome to you. Squeak, click. Ba, ba, quack, quack, yeah, buck, buck, woof. Sister Catherine shook her head, smiling. Good morning, God bless you, she said, patting the eager animals who thrust their heads through the hutch doors and fence slats around her. Saucer's head turned in so many directions that he almost flipped out of Sister Catherine's arms. Arf! 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 Saucer couldn't bark fast enough for all the things he wanted to say. Sister Catherine set Saucer down in front of a square red doghouse, a few feet inside the farmyard gate. Saucer sniffed it all over with his pointed nose, wagged his stumpy tail, and let his tongue loll out of his grinning mouth. 2 seconds later, he was out of the doghouse and prancing through the animal farm, inspecting all the pens. There might not be any nuns in those pens, but there were other animals, and Saucer thought they had herding possibilities. On most farms, animals live with their own kind, but at the monastery, the animals lived with their own friends. The first pen Saucer came to was home to a black and white border collie and a golden Araucana chicken. Arrow the guard dog and Butterscotch the guard chicken came to the monastery together and refused to be separated. They spent all day in opposite corners of their pen, staring hard at the other animals and reporting to each other over their shoulders. Buck, buck, woof, woof. Every few minutes they raced across the pen, switching corners. 2 gray bunnies lived next door to Arrow and Butterscotch. Someone named them Mary and Martha, like the sisters in the Gospels, but as they grew up, it became clear that both bunnies were misnamed. Martha spent her days cuddled peacefully in the sunniest corner of the pen, basking in the warmth and light. Mary scampered around the pen from morning to night, rearranging bits of straw and knocking over the food bowl just for the satisfaction of picking it up again. A family of goats enjoyed the large corner pen. Their names were Hop, Skip, Jump, etc., and so forth, and they were the noisiest members of the farm family. There was plenty of room to hop, skip, and jump in their roomy pen, but what they loved best was sticking their heads through the fence and commenting loudly on whatever the nuns were doing. So forth stood lookout at the corner of the pen. Whenever she saw a nun, she sounded the alarm. Bah! Her family ran to see what the nun was doing, and all 5 of them frolicked around the fence corner, bleating excitedly until the nun disappeared from view. Bethlehem the donkey thought the goats were amazing. He didn't understand them, but he loved to watch the goats as much as the goats loved to watch the nuns. On his other side were the ducks, and they were interesting too. Most days, Bethlehem trotted from the goat side to the duck side, waiting for his mysterious friends to do something entertaining. He was a small, quiet donkey with soft gray hair and long ears that twitched around, listening to the sounds of the world. He only brayed when he was nervous or when he thought the goats were funny. The duck pen was built around a small pond with a pebbly beach and fluffy grasses growing at the edge for nesting. Dickens was the largest duck with a shining green head and tweedy brown feathers. The others, in order of size, were Shakespeare, Charlotte, Emily, Cuthbert, Ignatius, Cassiani, Photius, Moses, and Daniel. The ducks followed each other around the pen. Whenever he wanted a change, Dickens quacked like a chairman making a motion. Charlotte and Emily seconded the motion. Quack, quack. And Shakespeare rounded up the ducklings and shooed them along, following Dickens wherever the committee had decided to go. Saucer spent his first afternoon galloping up and down the farm path between the pens. His eyes darted back and forth from the goats to the ducks, from the donkey to the bunnies. His nose waggled in the air. Every inch of his little furry body was springing with joy and purpose. His herd! He had found it! It took Saucer a full day to realize the problem with his herd. His herd was stuck. The animals lived in separate pens, and they never came out all at once in a group, so he could round them up and nip their ankles and bring them safely home. Saucer was disappointed, but he didn't despair. Saucer was always hopeful. Every morning, when Sister Catherine came to the animal farm, she found Saucer on patrol, trotting up and down the little path between the rows of pens. He would come to greet her, and she would let him out for a run in the grassy space beyond the farm. But Saucer would stay outside only for a short time. He wanted to get back to his herd. The nuns tried to distract him. They took him for long walks. They brought him toys that squeaked and jingled. They threw sticks and tried to teach him to fetch. Saucer grinned at them, offered to round them up, in case they had changed their minds, then trotted back to the animal farm to keep watch over his herd. Someday, Saucer told himself. Somehow. He'll be happier when the children come to visit, said Sister Catherine to Sister Anna, watching Saucer marching up and down along the rows of pens. Puppies and children always enjoy each other. Do you think he will try to herd the children? Asked Sister Anna. Are you sure we can let him play with the little ones? Maybe not the very smallest children, but the older children wouldn't mind. There doesn't seem to be any purpose in it, said Sister Anna after a moment. I wish we could train him to use that energy for something else. It's all those generations of sheep-herding ancestors, replied Sister Catherine. He hasn't learned yet that it's not his job. That doesn't seem fair to him. I wonder why God has kept that instinct so strong when Saucer can't use it anymore. It's a mystery, said Sister Catherine, but she wondered about it for the rest of the day.